We're going to have a look at a game I've played recently, and see which key mistakes we made and what we can learn from them. At the moment, I'm Shodan, or one down player, and I think so was my opponent. And we're going to have a look at the different moves played here. Right, we were playing as Gote, which means we played white. So we went second. And you can see the first move is already a bit weird because I'm usually defaulting to the Ureshi no Ryu. I just wanted to say how my opponent will deal with that. Goes for the 4th rank rook, trying to get early control of the center. And we're just developing based on our opening. He starts the castle, goes for the Mino castle perhaps, and we're trying to start to attack. The bishop defends naturally, and we're trying to push further while he tries to finish up his castle, which he does here. We have the Mino castle. So his king is safe and sound, whereas we are still down here in the middle. So our king might come under attack very soon. Continue to develop our silver general to start taking his position. And here he pushes the pawn to 6-5. And here we will encounter our first big mistake I made in this game, because what you're supposed to play here is retreating the silver bishop to take control of the square, right? However, I saw an opportunity for a very interesting move here, and I continue to push my pawn instead, giving up the bishop, the silver general, to attack the bishop here. And he said, well, encounter our first problem because I'm going to go for pawn break here and opening up the center, which is, if you look at the ball, not necessarily in my interest, right? Like his king is here safe and sound, while we are still in the middle, so we're way more vulnerable. And I try to prioritize getting this pawn through here to promote my rook, but unfortunately the opponent is faster, as we will see in a second. He grabs this 3 silver. We're trying to pressure the bishop, who just retreats. And now here's an important part, because we probably should have taken her to not allow this pawn to promote, and then afterwards the rook. So not really calculating the tempo correctly and going for an attack here instead. He has enough time to recapture. We recapture again, even though we could have waited with that. And now he's just continuing to push his pawn. And yep, he's going to be able to promote his rook while we're not. And also our king is a lot of danger here, right? Trying to defend, get the rook to back up. He retreats wisely. And a good idea here would have been to retreat the rook to protect our king a little bit more, you know. Don't want him to come drop something here and pressures. But instead I went for this move, trying to get a hold of this bishop, because remember we sacrificed the silver for that. He gets out of the way. We promote. I was first thinking about putting a pawn here, but then he could just move here, pressuring my rook while also having a very dangerous diagonal here. So instead I pushed that one. He took with the silver, and now I just put my pawn here. So he has to move, and I was hoping to grab that silver here, but instead he plays a very nice move. He just puts a pawn in front of me, and I grab the free-ish bishop. But he recaptures, and now I have to retreat my rook here. Obviously, I have to go back, protect her. And I'm a little bit on the defense already because my king could be like checked very easily. So here I should have definitely started to think about defense rather than just continue to attack, which I did because I opened up my long diagonal for the bishop, thinking about creating a tempo play here. And if he takes my rook, I take his, with a nice angle there. The problem was that I didn't really consider the tempo here, and he just goes, but checks me while grabbing the free gold. I have to take back here, and now he just grabs my free bishop, my free rook, and our king is super open. We lost a gold on top of that, so he has now 2 silvers and a gold in his hand, plus the rook, whereas VF has only the rook and the bishop. This is technically a free silver, right? The problem with that move is that this is a very offensive move, and we are on the defense. We're getting checked here, trying to defend with the rook. He's trying to attack us again. You know, if we move out of the way, he could put something else here. Like if we go here, for example, there could be a silver here. Or even a gold here. Would be pretty dangerous. And he also could just retreat, grabbing our pawn while promoting as well. So I was like, trying to block it as well. Also creating an attack on this one. He gladly takes again. I take again, and now he just puts a pawn down there. So I take. He puts another pawn, and he puts another pawn. You might be wondering, why does he sacrifice all of these pawns? The truth is, he wants our gold to get as far away from the king as possible, so he has an attack. So it might have been wise to retreat here. I, however, respond to single attacks only, and he's getting ready to checkmate us. Now, if we don't do anything, then the gold here will definitely be a GG. And also, our gold is attacked, right? Not wanting to give up the gold or losing there, I place down the silver with the idea of protecting that space from checkmate. And if he drops the gold here, we can still easily escape here and go out here, right? However, he just took it. We took with our silver, and now a similar situation appears. However, this time our silver is even far, like on the same spot where our gold was, but the gold is directly attacking him and directly threatening checkmate. And this time there's no way out, because if we go here, he will drop gold here, and same trade for the other side, obviously. So now we had to respond to this very single move, and I was already ready to sacrifice my rook just to protect myself. He doesn't even go for that trade. He just calmly grabs the silver, which is wise. And now I had the chance to do something to get out of this predicament. So I dropped the silver down here, thinking I would protect myself easily. But the rook drop here, of course, is lethal, because now we kind of have to go up. We don't really have anything to put in between. Like if we put like a, let's say we put like our bishop here, that would be very dangerous, right? Because next drop here would create a lot of problems on both sides. So I move, he grabs it, and I'm in a lot of danger here. A silver here would check us, leaving us only one space to go. Unless I wanted to go here and then and also lose our rook, obviously. If you go here, he grabs that and we checkmate it. So I tried to use an open file here in the hope that he tries to block it and that not seeing my bishop. But he did, of course, because he's a one-down player as well. Put some pressure. I tried to get it out. Take some freedom from my king, but of course he grabs my rook, and now it's pretty dangerous. Trying to block the rook out. He just checks us. We have to go up. He checks another gold. And from here on, it's a very quick checkmate pattern. He doesn't even use the gold, just checkmate us with the pawn. Legend. So yeah, these were like 3 mistakes we did here. Not calculating or like opening up the center with a pawn break without calculating the risks, especially with our king in the center, and also not calculating the tempo afterwards, allowing his rook to promote while ours was not. And the second mistake, when we tried to play for aggressive tempo and didn't see that he could take us with check, losing another piece, not really taking too much attention to the tempo there. And then the last mistake where we just had to defend to have single pieces in attacks rather than being able to figure out a checkmate pattern for the opponent and trying to avoid that. So yeah, that was basically the big 3 mistakes we hopefully learn from for the next time. And you can see even on a 1 down level, there's still a lot to learn. Well, thank you for watching.